Okay.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So she said, are you? I haven't noticed your unit triggering at all. Are you okay? And she said, well, yeah, I feel fine, and I don't know why it's not going off. I don't feel. And they tested her, and everything was fine. She was normal. And the interesting thing was, her grandmother had not taken this out of her purse.
Mm.
Okay, so the daughter was not even wearing it, and it had neutralized. So that whole weekend, she didn't have any need for insulin,
At all.
and so at all. Now this is different because it only goes about. It's very low power. It only goes about an inch, but it's enough to get it into your body. Like I wear and it's treating the veins in which treats your whole body, or you wear it over your chest and it treats your thymus, which broadcasts to your whole body. And
Mm.
this is very gentle. This is 24 times less powerful than the 4-inch, and like 50 sometimes less than the 5-inch. It's very gentle and but it would. So in your case, why does your daughter have it, and how can we? So if your body created that, there's got to be a way to come out of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's something that's blocking that body from the ability to fix that.
Well,
Right?
and the beauty is that we don't always, when you use something like this that enables the body to do it itself, we don't even necessarily have to know, because we could be like testing
No,
and trying to figure this out for years and years and
no.
years. But really, like, sometimes we just go, I don't know. And then so let's just let the body do what it needs to do, because it does know.
So there's a couple, older couple in Israel they started out with pendants and then immediately bought everything else. And they're counselors. Both of them are counselors. And she's wearing the plates. She's got some health issues. She's wearing the plates in the vest, carries it in the back, and it's actually beaming out through her body.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, this is fantastic. And she's a hugger. So she has her clients come in and they talk with her, and then she hugs them. And she says, when I hug some of my patients, the plates get really warm. She said, I
Mm-hmm.
can feel it. And it's actually not the plates, it's actually her skin. She's feeling, so that person is in need of something. And the body was just sucking the photons through her body. So it was warming up on her skin,
Mm-hmm.
as the force was coming through her body. So that's how I know that the body will self-regulate, and it's not going to overdose, because as the body needs less, it will just not take as much, right? And the only thing it will do is it will go to its optimal level and stop. So
Mm-hmm.
we have athletes. We did a cycle team, and they put this on just the brace, just the pendant, and they're fully healthy guys, but their oxygen content went up so high. Now their endurance is better, and they finished first, second, and third, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because their stamina was so much better, because their oxygen throughout their whole body, their circulation is better, their oxygen suppression or the saturation is better. They're much more. They said the range of breathing was amazing. I mean, when I take a deep breath, I feel like I'm getting all of that air. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of we breathe really shallow, high and shallow. Most people do really narrow and short breaths. Americans tend to do that
Yes.
because of stress.
Yes. I
So,
stress breathe
but
all
if
the
you
time, and
walk,
I try yogic breathing and everything. I work really hard at it, but I still find myself holding my breath and I'm doing it shallow. Yeah.
right. So what we learned doing the adrenal stuff is with belly breathing. Basically, if you watch
Yeah.
a baby, their tummy goes up. That's a great stress reliever,
Yeah.
and you're actually fully oxygenating much more because you're using the entire range of the lungs to
Mm-hmm.
breathe. And so
Mm-hmm.
you're getting that. Now, if you have the plates on, you're actually getting oxygen the whole time, not just, you know, your body, you're taking a whole breath, but you're only getting this much oxygen. You're actually getting the whole range. And
Mm-hmm.
some people, you'll notice when you're around the plates or the array that oxygen has a real crispness. When you breathe in, it's crisp to your nose because it's
Mm-hmm.
all those oxygen molecules are aligned, and there's none of the garbage. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you're it's so interesting to experience. It's like, wow, I did. um
Mm-hmm.
you don't if you're wearing this, you won't get sunburned. Bec- well, your skin will get red, but it won't burn, and
Yeah.
it'll heal super fast,
Yeah.
because that's normal. The reason why people get sunburned is because their body is it's not functioning properly, and it can't process the amount of vitamin D or sunlight that's coming in, the frequencies.
Yeah.
When you balance the body, now all of that can be taken in as much as possible.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any stories about cancer?
Yes. So we have larger plates. This is a 5-inch. We also have 7 and 12-inch. And we have, so if you put a mirror opposite this, which I always showed that, the mirror, basically, it
Yeah.
quadruples the healing power. If you have a little bit of movement, that also increases the healing effect. You'll notice that if you put your finger over it, if you burn it, or the movement helps the pain. The pain goes away instantly, literally.
Mm-hmm.
There was a gal who had uterine cancer and a mass in her about the size of a coconut. And
Okay.
she didn't want to do any cancer treatment. And they lived out in the country. And I have a picture of it I can send you. Basically, we built a stand that held the plate, a 12-inch plate, on one side of the bed. And
Mm-hmm.
then we had a mirror on the other side. And the mirror was it was on a DC motor, and it just moved a little bit. So that it was creating that movement of photons.
Mm-hmm.
And her cancer was the size of a walnut in a few months. And
Wow.
she was just laying that during the day. That's all she was doing.
Yeah.
So what the body created, the body could get rid of.
Yes.
Right?
And what about
And
MS?
her
What's
health.
like MS?
We've done prostate, Lou Gehrig's disease,
Mm-hmm.
Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of basically anything that has to do with physiological, the body could create, we can probably heal it. Now, some
Mm-hmm.
of them you have to catch them early. The Lou Gehrig's is touch and go, because depending on how soon, people have mental blocks at how they want to. Somebody has to be really committed to go natural early on, and
Yes.
that's when we can benefit. If we catch them when they've done chemo or something already, then that is a whole separate symptom base that's going to cause problems in our body.
Mm-hmm.
A gal, the very first one I had was a lady who had breast cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and she had gone through chemo at a natural clinic, sort of. So it was a very targeted, and for her, it worked real well. And we celebrated with a big party. She is cancer free. 3 days later, she was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Wow.
7-inch long nodules in her head.
Mm-hmm.
And well, in the cancer, when they do chemo, it blows it up all over the body. So it spreads it everywhere. That's
Mm-hmm.
typical. And so her husband got one of I gave her one, a 4-inch one, a smaller one. And she knit herself a cap that had this flexible mirror stuff on one side
Mm-hmm.
and a slot. So she'd put the plate on one side and the mirror on the other, and she would just do her knitting and read books and like that. And she went back to the cancer clinic. She had one round of chemo for it or something. I think they did a gamma or something on her. And the doctor said, I have never seen someone recover so fast. Within 7 months, she was completely clean and been fine for, I think, 3 years now.
Wow.
And no return.
Yeah.
And he said, I've never seen that, because that's usually fatal.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's because the body, now she still, she wears a pendant now for maintenance, basically.
Yeah.
And she's perfectly healthy. Hair's totally grown back. She's working again. She's perfectly fine.
Wow.
So whatever the body can create, it can also fix. Now, she was juicing. She was doing a lot of, this isn't a fix for everything. You got to do all the pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Change your diet, change your lifestyle, get out of the moldy house. She had to do a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this, I think, is part of that environment.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's recovered.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a tool. It's not the answer, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And Larry, like, I kind of going into the woo-woo here, but like, I mean, I actually don't even think it's woo-woo. I think it's completely true. But you know how we were talking about everything's frequency? And I also, I mean, even emotions are frequency. And so a lot of people who aren't well, they have trapped emotions, or they have like unresolved things. They have family inherited, all kinds of stuff, right? Like if we talk about PTSD, that's like the nervous system responding to something that doesn't even exist anymore, right? Like it's not happening anymore. But so there's like this embodiment of emotion, which also has frequency. And I could see biophotons, like it doesn't skip that need for people to actually explore those kinds of things in their lives. but I think it actually has that potential to kind of correct those things. It's almost like magnet therapy. Like people use, I've been doing magnets for, you know, like releasing trapped emotions. And I'm finding like, even with clients and with my family, it's like, I'm like just floored with how amazing those results have been. So just think of adding like biophotons, and you don't even know what it's correcting. Like you really, it could be going into that level.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So, and this is the thing. If we do something external, like other EMF products or whatever, there is a certain frequency set. So, and I have many people comment, it's like, I wear this necklace and I've got copper on and I've got all this stuff. And she said, I wore it for, 3 months and then I just didn't notice a difference anymore. Aha. The reason why is that frequency tank for her was empty, and the bracelet she had on had that frequency and it filled it up. So now she doesn't feel any different because she doesn't need it anymore. But if you have the plates, right, your body, I don't have to know the 10 million frequencies that you need.
Yes.
And you're different from me, different from Jane, different from Tom. This will regulate, your body will take in what it needs. If it's emotional, or if it's cancer, or if it's leukemia, or if it's stress, your body will regulate what it needs at the pace it needs it. That's the thing. It's all, I don't have to know everything that's wrong with you. So what, it's very freeing, right? And how do you explain that to somebody? Like, just get this, you'll be stunned. I don't. And here's the fun things you can do with it. But and I'm learning as much as I'm telling you, I'm learning every day about it. And I'm amazed at some of the stuff. It's like, oh, I never actually thought of that. This, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought now. So you said about cancer. There's over by the natural path physician. He's a fan of what we're doing. He like tells everybody about it.
Yeah.
And so my son he's got braces and they're trying to adjust his jaw. And my son he said, your son has the largest capacity to generate saliva that I've ever seen. And so they're constantly having to, and he's trying to bond stuff on his teeth. And he said, we can't suck it out fast enough. He's like, so I said, well, let me help you. And I went over and I was just next to him in the chair, painting just lightly. And he said, it dried up. Basically 99% of it was gone. And they were able to glue on this piece and everything. He goes, wow, I would never have thought. And I did. It's like, I don't know, let's just try it, So one of his patients, so I think, well, that's kind of weird. But so one of his patients, that he is a quadriplegic guy, was in a car accident from like upper chest down. He's paralyzed in a chair. And he says, I'm really interested in this because I want to buffer the EMF for my family. He's married and got 2 kids. He actually married his caretaker and she had children. And so he built houses and he built sailboats. The guy's amazing. And he's completely paralyzed. And he said, do you think this would help me restore feeling or something in my body? Would I feel better? He said, because I'm paralyzed, when I get sick, it goes into pneumonia because I can't breathe and get all that mucus and moisture out of my system. He said, when I get sick, my wife has to pound on my chest for hours on end to keep that stuff moving because I can't take a deep enough breath. And he said, I'll have bruises on my chest that look like her handprints because she's constantly all day long just pounding, trying to get. And so I said, well, let's just try it out. Yeah. And so he would wear this. So I told him about it. If you put this on your foot with reflexology, it's going to benefit. All those spots are going to basically, like acupuncture, impact your whole body. The first night, so I gave it to him, and I ride a ferry over to see him. It's like a half-hour drive. And so I left his place and I get this text message. He goes, oh my goodness, I can feel my leg. What is this? He said, it's been 20 years. He said, I can feel tingling in my leg. And that's what I said. I said, what? But what he found that because his body, he can't wear the plates for very long because it's overwhelmed. He's got so much toxicity because he can't exercise and get it out.
Yeah.
He can't handle it. But his wife came from a very abusive background. And she was wearing this. She said, this has helped me get rid of so much emotional, toxic garbage from my face. She said, I don't even know, I don't have words to explain. And it's very subtle. And sometimes it'll come all at once, and sometimes it'll just be a trickle. She said, this has absolutely transformed me and my personality and who I am because of the emotional stuff. He said, I don't know if that was part of the deal, but this is amazing stuff. So so there's your emotional thing. That's really interesting. So the fact that you stuff emotions, when I have stress, I hold it in my back on the left side, kind of, I always get, oh, there's that thing. What am I stressed out about, Well, everybody's different, right? Or headaches or whatever. So this helps clear that, right?
Yeah.
And you have to accelerate or decelerate the amount that you use it based on how you're feeling.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that your body, you actually are holding that stress somehow, that emotional stuff, even from years ago,
energy,
and it will come out.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really, I would never have thought that would be part of the results from this. I never even thought of that. But here somebody discovers, well, that's a perfectly healthy person, but their emotional stuff is getting cleared. Like, wow, that's interesting.
Well, because I'm finding a lot of people that I know, like clients and friends and family, they're not getting better, or there's some kind of barrier, like a block to their getting well. And I'm like, ooh, that's emotional. Like that is, I know it. Like you can see that. And I think, as soon as people start to deal with that, they start to get better. There's so many stories like that. So that's why I'm thinking, yeah, everything's information. Emotions still have a frequency, right? And you know what? One more thing, like, okay, Larry, I've got a grandma who is laid up in bed. And like if you're talking toxicity, she hasn't moved for a long time. And her whole history is that she started off with arthritis, then, inflamed joints. And then she, wasn't very mobile. And now she actually basically can't walk. She has to get moved in and out of her bed. Like she can't even hardly feed herself. She can't see well, hear well. She's kind of like, and a whole bunch of emotional stuff. So she gets really weepy and she's very lonely and obviously disempowered. And and I'm wondering too, like her back was broken, like fractured in the hospital. So she can't actually heal from that. So we were looking at like a pure wave mat, which kind of does a similar thing, although it's like more money. And I still really like those, but I love the idea that this is very, like, you don't have to plug it in. And and she's got a pacemaker, so we don't have to worry about anything like that.
No.
So what's your, like, have you seen anybody in this kind of situation use something, or like if you're thinking about ideas for her?
Yes. So the gal in Florida, she's in her 70s.
Yeah.
And she was working in a building that had 2 TV stations and 2 radio stations, antennas everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was a sick building.
I worry about that
too.
She said, she's in a home with a whole bunch of stuff plugged in everywhere.
Yeah. And so even if you had this, so she said within a week, within 3 days, I was getting emails within 24 hours from her. She goes, this is astounding. This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I could walk again. I've tossed my walker away and I'm getting around. I was out in the garden for the first time in 3 years. She said, I don't even go anywhere for groceries because I've been so sick and everything hurts and, knee injury and arthritis. And she said, all of a sudden, everything had just cleared up. And she said, I'm actually moving too fast because I feel so good now. And I almost fell down the stairs. I'm like, whoa, take it easy. So, okay, so I can tell you some stuff that'll blow your mind, but basically,
go ahead.
Well, we're running some experiments.
Okay.
Where we can treat an entire city.
Yep.
So that all of the EMF and all the electricity is benefiting you and not hurting you.
Mm-hmm.
So, did I teach you about breathing?
Well,
so
you were talking about breathing. Tell me.
Okay, so I don't know if Clean Heart does this or not, but this is how we test whether or not the plates are working or the arrays are working long distance.
Oh, okay? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now, you can do this. If you look at a picture of one of these, you'll have the same effect as if you have it.
Oh.
To some extent.
Yeah.
Okay, so so this is scalar stuff. This is we're way out there past even Einstein stuff, Tesla stuff. Okay, so, but you can experience it and verify it for yourself.
Okay.
If you, not everybody can do this, but I've done it and it works. So, and you can practice this with your kids. This is fun because they have no preconceived ideas. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at grass, something in nature, grass, mountain, grass, a rock, anything that's not man-made, that's nature, and breathe. No, notice, like, just look at something and take a breath, and notice the range of breathing, and that there's no constrictions. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get a. I'll reset. I'll look at something and breathe, and just kind of, okay, that's what it feels like, and then look at something man-made, a power pole, a cell tower, your cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
something that hasn't been treated with a plate, and try breathing, and you won't be able to breathe. In other words, you'll get so far, and then it takes a lot of effort to finish that breath. And it'll either be top down pressure or from the side. It'll be like, to get that same breath, it's a lot of effort. And you want to go from bottom to top. So it's like, I look at something and go, and you can breathe. And
Yeah.
then look at something man-made or a Wi-Fi or whatever, and try breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't, and what that's telling you, your body has an amazing biofeedback system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great, now gets really interesting. You can test anything with your breathing. Once you get good at it, just do it all the time. When you're in traffic, look at a tree and breathe. Then look at the car next to you and breathe. And you'll notice it, and you'll get really tuned into that.
Mm-hmm.
Go into the store and look at the produce
Yep.
and breathe. Look at the avocados and breathe. Look at the GMO stuff. You'll be able to tell what's GMO and what's organic by looking at it and breathing,
Hmm.
if you get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to look at people and tell if they're sick or healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They'll literally take your breath away. If someone's sick, you can't see this, somebody's bad coloring, and you go, that person's abusing their body, and you try to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at somebody who's really athletic and go, oh, that person's in pretty good health.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were doing this, we were on a street cafe, and there was Japanese tourists. And he said, look at those people and breathe. And I couldn't. He goes, Fukushima. All those Japanese people are poisoned because of Fukushima.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So this has to do with jet lag. Okay, too. If you'll never have jet lag again. First of all, if you're wearing these, you'll never have jet lag. Or put
Yep.
these under your leg when you're driving. You
Yep.
can drive for hours and not get tired.
Yep.
Because your system just, basically when you're going, air is positive ions.
Mm-hmm.
Your body wants negative ions. So positive tires you out.
Yep.
Stagnant, still water sucks energy out of you. Rushing water is invigorating. So a waterfall and rushing water, that's why rushing water is fully oxygenated and actually stimulating. If
Mm-hmm.
you're in a convertible or motorcycle and you're going to get really tired, the windburn, because it's sucking energy out of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a bath is very relaxing, where a shower is invigorating, because you're getting negative ions versus positive ions. So your environment is very important. If you have, what was I going to say? So if, like on the vacation thing, if you're going somewhere and you are exposed to the vitamin D and rushing water, your body is going to be so enthusiastic about the environment, because it's getting what it needs that you're not getting in the city, right?
Yep.
Now you're out
Yep.
in the country, it sounds like, so that's
Yep.
good. You can, jet lag. If you're, I tell this to people, if you go out, if you take a long flight and you've, like, different time zone, you're going to be totally wonky. Get out of the plane, get outside in nature, even if it's dark out, and find north, and let your eyes, just hold your head straight and let your eyes go left to right.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it will reset your body compass, and you'll be set to that time zone, and you won't have any jet lag. Because
Mm-hmm.
what happens at high altitude for a long period of time, your body loses connection with the earth,
Yes.
and you're getting a lot of positive ions going by the airplane. Your body's clock tilts or rotates off of the axis. So you're not connected to earth anymore, and the body drifts. It doesn't know where it's at. And so you have this fatigue thing going on because it doesn't know where it's at.
Yeah.
But if you're it works even better if you're grounded. Take your shoes off and then
Yep.
do that.
Yep.
It resets your body, like, oh, I know where I'm at. I'm good.
Yeah.
And you're fine.
Yeah.
So there's frequencies, emotions, all that stuff. It's all packed in. And
You-
what I mean, you don't have to understand it to blow it up and take you, but just create the environment and your body will self-regulate out of all the problems you have. And that'll
I'd
make your
love to
life so much
see. You know, what would be so cool because going back to my grandmother and her place, like it's full of people who have dementia and Alzheimer's and, mobility problems, lots of pain, and not a really great feeling environment. Like, they really try. The staff tries so hard, and even the staff, like, could working in an environment like that, it's really tough. And with the
they pick
lighting
up.
and the
Yeah,
EMF.
yeah.
And I would love to see like an array in a place like that and just see what happens to all the people there. Just see what happens. Not to mention, not even just the food and, the rest of that stuff, purpose
Everything.
and doing stuff
Yeah.
with their time and getting out of bed.
But it's
Like
all of that. Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah.
staff, the equipment, the environment, the food, everything would totally change.
Yep.
And then you could go along. I mean, even if you have one of these, you could go in her room and paint over a lot of the stuff.
Totally. I'm going to. I'm
Like
going
that.
to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah. And I'm actually
and-
writing a book about that, about the boat rocking parents' guide to making change in institutions and schools and other institutions, and then it goes through all these things as areas to take care of to make those spaces healthy places to be. So yeah. Okay, so is there anything else you're dying to tell me before I let you go?
I'm no. I probably have a lot, but
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording because I caught so much. But I was asking all these things because obviously. Oh, I have one more thing. Okay, about kidneys. Like we have a friend who is in kidney failure, like literally like 8% left, or maybe 10 or something like that.
Oh,
now she's on the kidney.
they can fix that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I can send you a link, but I get it's just a runner belt from Amazon, and it has it's just elastic belt.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it has pockets in it for a cell phone. I don't have one with me. I've got one somewhere. And you just stick the plate in it facing towards his kidneys and just wear it.
Yeah.
Okay. And his kidneys will come right back. He'll be
But yeah.
we also make a smaller one we put them in ski goggles.
Yeah.
And it'll fix their macular degeneration and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So glaucoma.
Yeah.
Because people wear them at night, and it's just if you just start out with this, you'll have the most amazing, wild, crazy dreams. It's hard sometimes to start out with because it's so stimulating.
Yeah.
I don't notice it as much now because I'm a little further improved, but so goggles, also a fanny pack for guys that have prostate.
Yeah.
They just wear it down in their groin area, pointing in, and
Yeah.
it'll go away. Get rid of that. You don't have to have surgery or do cancer stuff or the radiation pellets.
Wow.
Because it'll regulate the body. So, yeah, that's virtually anything you can come across somebody. If we can catch it early enough, a lot of the people will recover at least partial or most of their ability, whether it be kidneys or whatever. Your daughter, for instance, and that stuff really. I have friends and their granddaughter, 16-month-old, has just have a shot every. I don't know if she's type 1 or not, but
would be yeah. If she has to have a shot, yeah.
That's crazy. Like they're constantly monitoring her. I'm like, this is not. How does this child, who lives in the country, get this?
Yeah.
What is going on? That is not normal. One gal I know, she was on bed rest her last trimester and set the laptop on her, and her daughter did have that, and I think that's a result of that. In the fetus was affected by the Wi-Fi.
I think
and
so.
no one told her, and I won't say anything because that'd be horrible to like I did this to my daughter kind of thing. But there's got to be a way to erase it. There's got to be.
Yeah.
And I don't have I don't have anybody. There's one guy that wants to try it, but I don't know that they would be diligent. I need to get data from people. So I'm looking for people who are doing this, who are actually every day taking here's what we're doing.
Yes.
Here's where things are at.
I'd be happy
And
to help you gather that data. You know, if I have people that are
yeah,
interested in, yeah, I would be happy to help you with that. I'm,
and then you have
yeah,
like the kidney thing, that's
yeah,
perfect. That's very isolated. It's specific.
yep,
He's wearing it every day. This is the results.
yep,
And I would go with just a 4-inch one because this is really powerful.
mm-hmm,
Um, it's almost life altering to some people because it's so powerful.
mm-hmm.
In that breathing thing, um, well, I won't blow your mind too much, but you can affect things from far away. So um, start testing that breathing thing because it's really helpful. And then if you are near a computer or have a picture of the
Right
plates.
now.
Well, if you're out in nature and you have a picture, even on your phone, just take a picture of or get the website up with a picture so you can look at this,
Yeah.
look at the plate and breathe, and then look at something that's man-made and breathe, and you'll be able to breathe really easy with the plates just by looking at the
Even though you're
picture.
looking at a phone with the picture on it, that's
Oh
man-made.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you have the array, any rain that's coming down is picking up radar,
Yeah.
microwaves, and
Yeah.
it alters them on. So then the plants are exposed to that, even if not directly through the water. If we
Mhm.
condition all that, now that's perfect environment from the water, the plants will go like crazy. So
Mm.
there's a lot, it's very intertwined. Everything is intertwined. Like your grandmother, you can treat her food and her water with one of these so that she's ingesting that same frequency as the plate that she's also wearing or having resting on or whatever.
Yeah, and for someone like her, would you
Restoration.
do like a pendant or like because you were saying you don't want to start to with the biggest ones. Like I'm just gonna go for the big one with the 5G because I want to be protected for
Well,
everything.
you can't.
But that doesn't really it's not really how you do it, is it?
So here, I actually have a theory
Okay.
that 5G isn't that bad.
Okay.
No. Well, maybe I should say 5G, your body can handle 5G. So
Okay.
what I've found is I don't wear these for a week at a time, and I could tell when I need it again. But
Yeah.
I think what happens is your body can build up a buffer and be around toxic frequencies and not be affected by it.
Okay.
Okay? Because I don't feel the effects of 5G
But that's because you
for a
use
period
your plate.
of
Is that what you mean? That you're using your plate and that's why you're not affected?
the, no, but then I don't wear the plate. I haven't worn it for a week now, and I feel
Okay.
fine. But then
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a little bit like I should probably wear it again.
Well, the thing is, Larry,
Once
I'm
you
going to be devil's advocate because a lot of people feel that they're fine right now, and they're not because we're talking about that underlying stuff that's
right,
going on that we're not
right.
aware
So
of. Yeah.
right, but my health now is exponentially better than it was, and I'm very sensitive
Yes.
to we've been gluten free for 11 years,
Yes, me
and
too.
I can tell the difference in food dramatically. I mean,
Mhm.
like everything is heightened.
Yeah.
The taste of water, I can tell. I can smell water when someone turns on a tap. I can smell if it's good or bad now.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like everything. The things that we probably had 200 or 300 years ago was normal. We've
Mm-hmm.
totally gotten away from that because our environment is so noisy with so much stuff, and we've lost
Tons
touch
of
with
noise.
how it's much more complicated, right? And
Yeah.
so you don't realize the stimulus is coming in. That's why they're freaking out because we're in isolation. They don't know what to do. It's like this is the way life was years ago.
Yeah, I
We
know.
didn't have all that,
I know.
right? So
Yeah.
welcome to real life, and so now they're going out walking
Natural
and stuff. You're
life.
not supposed to do that. Like, isn't that funny? When you shut everything off, they actually go do what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So you become, I don't say, you become the more enhanced whole person that you are supposed to be
Right.
once your environment is better, and
Mm-hmm.
you're breathing better, you can experience better, you can see, not only see, but you can, when you look at somebody or something, you can tell it's good or bad very
Mm-hmm.
easily because now you have, everything gets muddled together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the people that are working at your grandmother's place, that's just, they're used to that suppressive net place, right?
Yeah.
They don't even, well, I don't like working there, but it's a job and I take care of people. But
Yeah.
if you were to lighten that whole place up, they would want to come to work because they wouldn't even know why. It
Mm-hmm.
feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It's energetic. The patients are better. They're not, they're happier. There's just something different. They don't even, people don't know how to describe it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Fun thing, when you're traveling, I will been standing in line with the TSA. I will paint over all the equipment that people are going through, those machines,
Mm-hmm.
and it neutralizes all the EMF from those.
Mm-hmm.
But the machines have, not what they're injecting on people. But then if you paint people after they've come through, you reset their bodies and they won't have the effects from it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and if you had a mirror, so in your case of your grandmother, even if you're there to visit for a short time and you didn't want to leave this, you put the mirror opposite her, just get a small mirror from the discount store and just paint over her body.
Yeah.
And the effects would, if you did it often, she would begin to come out and really progress nicely.
Yeah.
Um, and her attitude, the pain, the swelling, all that stuff would be affected by it. And then
Yeah.
if she wore a pendant, that's low power enough, and over time, if nobody stole it, she
Yeah.
would be recover from it.
Mm-hmm.
But an array would also work. That's just an investment. But
Yeah.
you can use it like I throw it in the car and take it places. So it's if you trust somebody to put it somewhere where it can't be bothered, it
Yeah.
would be interesting to see what it did to that facility. Because
I,
there's a lot of people that are like that
yeah.
facilities that are in bad shape. And I'd
Yeah.
love to
I
be
mean,
able to.
every facility that meets a philanthropist that gets this, and then they can help that whole community. I mean, that's always what I'm
Right.
trying to strive for, is to do that. Because yeah, it's one thing to help your own family, which we need to, and our friends and everything. But like, if we can do something on a little larger scale, I think that's
Yes.
obviously better. Okay, so I better let you go.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm like, I need to stop recording because I need to get out of this chair so bad. Oh, and I better let you go. You've been so generous
Okay.
with your time. I'm gonna stop
Okay.
recording now.